You just watched the Wild Robot trailer and now you want to read the books? I got you. I've read them all. In this video, I'll give you an overview of them without spoilers, so you can see if you want to read them too. Hi, I'm Kathy Allen, a teacher, a reader, a mama, and a Ninja Warrior athlete, and we love the Wild Robot in our house. Don't believe me? You can watch my oldest and I react to seeing the trailer for the first time here. Reading the books is a great way to pass the time as you wait for the movie to come out this fall. There are currently 3 books in the series, and here's the order you read them in. Start with the Wild Robot, then move on to the Wild Robot Escapes, and finish with The Wild Robot Protects. All 3 of these books have relatively short chapters and illustrations throughout, making them a great choice for a read aloud. You can probably read this to kids 6 and up, but you know your own kid. If they can listen and comprehend the story, go ahead and read it to them. I just finished reading all 3 to my 7-year-old. They're also great for adults too, though, so don't feel like you're too old to read these. I am 40 years young and I absolutely love them. If you've seen the trailer, then the basics of book 1 are going to sound familiar to you. Some robots in boxes crash on an island, and then an otter accidentally turns one on, and this Rosm robot named Roz comes to life. She has no idea what's going on or where she is, and she eventually camouflages herself to try and learn about the island and the animals who live there. She learns how to speak to the animals, but when they see her coming, they either hide or call her a monster, which really hurts her feelings. Yes, I know, robots aren't supposed to have feelings, but Roz is not happy about this, okay? They simply don't trust her because she doesn't look like anything they've seen before. Things are not looking good for our Roz. When a sad accident results in her finding a goose egg that has no family left, Roz finds herself adopting a newly hatched gosling. From there, she has to figure out how they can both survive and thrive on this island with the help of the other animals. And Roz learns how she can help them out too. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there so I don't give too much away. And if you already think I gave too much away, then you obviously haven't watched the trailer because it's pretty much all of it. Here are 3 things you are going to love about this story. Number 1, Roz. She's so resilient. She never gives up, and she's always looking for ways to make life better for all of the animals on the island. She's a robot, yet she's kind, caring, empathetic, curious, and the best mother ever. Plus, when you read her parts, you get to do a robot voice. What's not to like? You'll also love the cast of animals. Some are mean, but come around eventually. Some are sweet and stay that way throughout. And some, like Chit Chat the squirrel, talk a mile a minute, so it's really fun to read their parts aloud. It's especially satisfying to see the little gosling Brightbill grow up throughout their story. And the third thing you're gonna love? Nature. Who doesn't love some good nature? Especially when you're reading about it in your cozy living space, preferably under a nice warm blanket. There's something so soothing reading about all the seasons and how the animals survive them. Or don't survive them, but I told you I wasn't going to spoil anything for you. The illustrations come at just the right time, and the chapters being short means you don't have to commit to reading a whole bunch of them if you don't want to, but you're going to want to. I bet you'll enjoy this book and read it rather quickly. Then you'll have more to look forward to when you eventually get to see the movie. So you finished The Wild Robot. Next, you move on to The Wild Robot Escapes. Okay, obviously the existence of the second book is sort of a spoiler for the end of the first book, but if you Googled The Wild Robot, you would come across this, so don't get mad at me. This book opens with Roz on a family farm. She's a worker robot, plain and simple, tasked with taking care of the animals and the machinery. But we know her secret. She can talk to animals, and she desperately wants to get back to her island and her son, Brightbill. When she befriends the 2 kids on the farm, she starts to believe they may be her key to escape. But how? And will she ever get back to her island and her son? Here are 4 things you're gonna love about this story. New characters and settings. The farm is really fun. And even though Roz wants to be home with Brightbill and the other animals on her island, she learns a lot and has a pretty good time while she's there. The kids are great as well, and there are lots of new settings in the book that teach Roz a lot about other robots and humans. You'll love that this story has a puzzle that's kind of tough to solve. How will Roz make her escape? Throughout much of the book, it's not entirely clear. And even when she moves forward in her quest, there are tons of setbacks that will make you doubt whether she will ever escape at all. You'll love that this book has a bit more intensity. The stakes are higher in this one because Roz wants to escape, and we so badly want that for her too. She faces off against some dangerous animals and gets into some scary and potentially damaging situations. They come later in the book and aren't too scary, don't worry. You'll also love the pace. It's relaxing at times, like when she's at the farm, and frantic at times when she's trying to make her escape. And throughout, there's that undercurrent of her wanting to get back to Brightbill and the island that pushes the story along and makes you want to turn the pages. Again, we've got short chapters and fun illustrations. So when you finish The Wild Robot Escapes, you should read The Wild Robot Protects. Again, it's a bit of a spoiler for the end of book 2 if you even pick up book 3, but Google exists, the internet exists, so you're not going to hear it from me first. In this 3rd volume, Roz is back on her beloved island, and everything is back to normal. Except, what's that in the water? Something shiny that's making sea creatures sick. The animals soon come to call it the poison tide, and they find that it's spreading. The island becomes overrun with sea and coastal creatures, and they cannot all fit on the mainland and live together peacefully. Something needs to change, but what? Roz is immune to the poison tide, so she takes it upon herself to find out where it's coming from and how she can stop it. She goes on a journey through the ocean to try to find the one animal who may know how to stop this, and she has to figure it out before she has no island to go back to. Here are 5 things you're gonna love about this story. You'll love the new characters and new settings. Yes, I know I'm sounding a bit like a broken record here. In this one, Roz gets to meet tons of ocean life. It's fascinating to spend time with so many curious creatures, and we get their backstories, even if Roz spends only a tiny amount of time with them. And our old character friends are changing too. Bright Bill has a mate. You'll love the climate and animal focus. There was some of this in the first book, but there's a whole lot more in this one. The poison tide is killing animals and fish and plants, and it's incredibly sad. We as readers want Roz to stop that tide, and even when she does, it's not going to stop all the destruction that's already happened. The stakes are a bit higher in this book. You'll also love the mystery. Once again, we know Roz's objective, but we have no idea how she's going to get there. We also don't know in this one what's causing the poison tide and how to even stop it, so we're learning right along with Roz as we read. You'll also love the pace. This one is a pretty steady one with an undercurrent of desperation throughout as Roz tries to stop the poison tide and stop more animals from getting sick and dying. Finally, you'll love the themes in this one. This one has a bit more philosophy in it than the last 2, and some scarier parts with bigger sea creatures and destruction. But again, it's not anything too scary. I think these themes are going to bring up a lot of interesting conversations. There, you've done it. You've read all 3 books. Now you are so ready to see that first movie, and you're joining the club of people who desperately want the other 2 books to be turned into movies as well. And now that you're done with them, you can tell everyone you know about how good the books are. Maybe you can even lend your copies to them if you're brave. You can also send them this video and trust that they get their copies on their own. These books feel like new classics to me. They have timeless themes, kind characters, a bit of danger, a bit of mystery, and a whole lot of heart. You just feel like you're doing something right when you read these to a kid you know. So what are you waiting for? Get these books and start reading them right now. After you hit the like button, of course. Until next time, happy reading.